Okay, Daniel, so what I have here is, I'm not sure what I did with this one. All right, I'm just going to delete all this for a second. So there's probably more than one way to do this. But one thing that comes out to me is if this is my part, I'm probably not going to try and pocket on an angle here for an inlay. That doesn't make a lot of sense because I think it would be difficult to achieve. So I'm going to plan on my pocketing being flat and let my surface itself be beveled. And whether you want to do that on the back or the front doesn't matter. If you want to have a nice polished edge, then just mirror it and put the edge on the back so that you're just cutting away the back portion. So and then having this kind of be the part that pops up through. But it just occurs to me when I'm doing the pocketing and the cutouts, I'm going to want them to be done with end mills and flat end mills to make sure they fit together. So that's to me the way to do this. So I took one of these characters here and I made it the size of the part we're talking about, which is about 600 tall by 700 by 270 wide. Okay, so that's one aspect here. Now I'm going to take these two and I'm going to put whatever thickness I want to have to them is what I'm going to put here. However much I'm going to pocket it down in here. So I'm putting 6 millimeters, a quarter inch would be my pocketing depth, and the rest of it's going to raise above that. And if I look here for a second, okay, so if I look here for a second, this is going to be 40, for this particular shape, 40 millimeters above zero, and this 20 as far as it's sticking out. So that's something I'm going to pay attention to. So what I'm going to do is I took my part and I'm going to make it 6 millimeters thick to start with. Now I'm going to put on a couple rails, one on each side of this person, this figurine here, and this one. I'm going to select my part here and this side, and then say move this rail over to this side. That's not what I wanted here. Over to this side. Need to group this for a minute. And now I have one on each side here. So, I mean, this might change based upon some factors, and I'm going to actually come here and merge this. Let's just create a new one altogether. Here I'm going to come, and it's important when you're looking at rails to be aware of where they are. So I'm going to grab these two here. Now this one, I'm going to come to my front view, hit F2, and I'm going to move this one so it's 20 above 0, and then I'm going to come to this one and move this one so it's 40 millimeters above 0. So I have two lines here. One's going to be the one's going to be lower and the one's going to be higher. That's going to be my disparity, and I might alternate those. I'm not sure which one I want which based upon whether I'm doing the front or the back, but that's going to give me the general idea. Then I'm going to take a straight line here, and I'm not going to rotate it. The rotating is going to happen by the 20 and the 40 across the length of this part. So I should be able to come select this one, go to sweep two rails, select the first rail, select the second rail, and then 1, 2, and hit add this to my current relief, so I'll maintain that 0.6 backing, and there I'm going to have a surface that's pretty much going to be where I want. If I come here and I select this, my size should be let's go to the front here and do this up once and back. So it's almost 46. So that would mean, if I come here and this is going to be just about at 26. This is just about at 46. And then when I go in there and I pocket my pocketed area out, Okay, so I'm going to cut this out with a, let's say, a 1/4 inch end mill, and this is going to be out of 27 millimeter material, but I'm going to do an inlay here, and depending upon what the material is, let's see, 0.1 inches would be, I guess, 2 millimeters, something to that effect. Maybe even less than that, I'm not sure. 0.25 or 2. Anyways, whatever the gap is here, that's going to be the total gap. So I'll just guess it's about 2 millimeters and say OK. So that when I cut this part out, I'm not sure why I didn't do that one. I'm going to do Control-C, paste this to the active layer, delete my relief, and then the pocket, the cutout would come after the fact here. So there's going to be my cutout shape, and one area you're going to have a little issue with here is this one, but you can probably just apply an overcut to create that. And then you're going to have pocket, which is going to be basically these same two contours, and on this one we're going to use the same fill here, and we're going to do a dado to 6 millimeters with an inlay of the same gap. Whatever the gap is, it needs to be on the male and the female. So then once you've come here and lowered this into the material, so I guess it's a little bit over an inch here, but have to be at least 27. Oh, have to be at least 47, so it'll be about 2 inches thick. So that you'll be able to move this part down in the material and create just a flat toolpath that's going to pocket off this area. Let's move this to bottom of plate. And then you can probably use a pretty big toolpath here, or a pretty big tool, since that's just a flat spot, maybe a 12 millimeter tool or something. I'm going to go down 47, apply overcut here. Do a 90%. I don't know why I'm having a little trouble with my toolpath here, but 37 depth. But you get the idea here. You would do the pocket here, which would go back and forth. I'm not sure why that's not doing. 47 millimeters, apply overcut. Guess it didn't like it being grouped there. So this would be one tool path, or you could do the hatch fill here. This would create a few different tool paths, but this would be the way you could go about creating this beveled part and because we're basing all the cutouts on 2D shapes and with angular bits, I'm pretty confident that these two would then fit together and give you the part you need. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could do this on the reverse and mirror it so that the part that you're going to be putting down would be the part you cut. But it should be getting into there. And I don't think you had to go quite that far on the overlap. So you could probably get rid of some of this tool path that's going down here and reduce this time a little bit. You probably just wanted to go to the edge, but not to go down over the side. So in this case, you're just creating the fill here, and then not going down quite that deep around the edges, just going from here to here. All right. So, anyways, that's how I would go about creating this with this bevel on it. You could use sweep two rails and put an exact angle along there, but I just went with the values. You know, if the values are correct, the angle should be okay. But if we wanted to, you could use, instead of sweep two rails, you could just have a specific angle bit, in which case you would pre-rotate it and then do an extrusion along just one of these sides. But I thought it would be more effective and more accurate just to have this side be where you want it on this one, at making sure that everything's correct according to this part here. And if these are correct and the angles, works with that, then that should be all right as well. Anyways, if you still have any questions, give me a holler and let me know. Thanks. Bye.